Are you ready? Are you ready to pod it up?
Let's go. Let's have fun.
Peatcast it. This is the Simply Youth Ministry Podcast with Doug Fields,
But we are an award-winning podcast. We ought to start promoting that.
Matt McGill,
Let's soak up that awesomeness. How great is this?
Wow.
Josh Griffin,
Just to throw it in there, not all of our shows are going to be great.
and Katie Edwards.
That's what the teens are saying.
Write in. We'll answer your email.
SYMpodcast@gmail.com.
Hey everybody, welcome to Simply Youth Ministry Podcast, episode 1. And Doug Fields here with Josh Griffin, the co-host. And
Oh, I forget you're only co-host.
I know.
well, you're co-host too.
Doug kind of promoted himself to co-host, so now we share
You
it.
just told me I was
it's-
also co-host.
We're try co-hosting.
You know, the office has new, new thing happening in terms of Michael Scott has a. Oh look, we got a little visitor.
What are you doing, Jay?
What's going on, buddy?
What are you up to, man?
Jan.
Well, I know that's your name. You say hi to everybody out there.
Wave
Why
to
don't we
the
start?
camera.
We'll
camera.
start over.
No, never mind.
That's all right.
He's the man.
Are you gonna go play Angry Birds?
What happened? What about your Angry-Birds?
Oh, I don't have Angry Birds on my phone.
How many Angry Birds do you need?
Do you just
You
need?
want to go play Angry Birds on the iPad?
No.
I'll be right back.
Does want to play?
I mean, we can keep it going next time, Josh. I was being sensitive to you not.
You're fine. You're fine.
Who wants to play hide and seek?
We have to talk to this camera for a little bit, and then after we're all done, we can play hide and seek.
Okay.
Okay.
Can being the operative word, not will.
What?
How's Pogue doing?
He's like so great. I mean, I think.
That's great.
Yeah,
love Pogue.
I mean, I did not know in praying for a ministry partner like a year ago that it
Yeah.
was going to be this great.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Like, it's just great.
That's
We just
awesome.
are like
So
totally
cool.
clicking, and it's great, and yeah, it's like saving my life. I mean, he's just so great.
Birds.
It's great.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
just love him. Yeah.
It's great.
Name we're right here.
Okay, so if it happens again, we just go,
Oh yeah, just go.
and then you can either
Go,
stand up and move them out, or do whatever you want. I was just being sensitive that
No, I
you
really
have a
appreciate that,
kid's
but it's
face
fine.
on camera.
Yeah, we're great.
We like to affectionately know him as number 4. What episode is this? Does anybody know?
I think it's 158. Yeah, 158.
Okay. Wow, 158. That's a lot.
I don't like the way that.
We're so close to 200.
3 of us have been here the whole time.
That's a lot of episodes.
I'm sorry, I was a little late. Okay.
That's a lot of shows to carry.
That's true.
No wonder. Anyhow, here we go.
I'm
All
gonna
right.
be recognized for my
41-minute show now. Here we go.
Everybody knows you're the prima donna. We now
Prima
we
donna's
schedule
the right
our
word.
life around
I
you.
have to leave at 10:45.
Where we're going to be done at 10:35.
okay.
Love it.
All right.
One.
1, 2, 3. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Simply Youth Ministry Podcast, episode 158. This is Doug Fields here with my co-host,
Host.
Josh Griffin, my
Hi.
other co-host.
Not a host.
Yes. I feel
Katie
I like my
Edwards.
status
I don't
as
think it's
co-host.
fair. What happened
And
to?
the prima donna of the show, Mr. Matt McGill.
I'll accept that.
All right.
As well, you should.
The talent.
The one who carries the
Atlas.
show.
Talent.
The one who we have to now schedule all
Foundation.
around.
Yes.
For a year he had no job.
These are the
That
most
is
random
not
times
true.
we're doing podcasts now because of you, Matt. Thanks a lot.
I didn't pick this time.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't.
Hey, the other thing,
I did not pick this time.
is gonna when he moves, it's gonna even be more difficult.
Yeah, is that for real? You're really moving?
I gotta move.
You
This
do
is kind
gotta
of like
move.
Michael Scott has there's a new boss coming to replace him.
Oh yeah, I heard a
Maybe-
little bit about this.
Maybe we need to do that a little bit.
Replace Matt?
Well, maybe we should just have a backup ready to go.
I do like that.
Jake is a fine.
Yeah, but Jake's gonna be as far away as you
Yeah,
are.
he lives further
yeah,
away.
Yeah, but
Boo.
he comes down here more often,
Yeah.
and he is insecure enough that he really cares what people think about him.
You know what? Maybe we could do. Tori graduates in a month. Maybe she could represent the younger
wonder
generation.
What seed you were planting?
No, I wasn't
There
planning
it is,
this.
wandering little path.
I promise with all my heart I was
To
not.
sow his seed. Just kidding.
No,
You
but
said that a couple weeks ago to me, and I just thought it was a good bit.
what's that? Sowing the seed.
Yeah. Oh, there's a seed.
It wouldn't be the first time you
I
stole
do
a
like
good
to
bit.
see you every week, though. I feel like
That's all I do is
it's
steal
my
it.
chance to see you.
I know, it's so great getting together, you
I
guys.
know. Just we're gonna start a petition.
Yes.
Keep Matt.
I'm in.
It's kind of like what I had a little.
I've not been more in.
I had a little behind closed door meeting with Josh about him losing an employee to you.
Yes.
And I said,
it's because he viewed her as an employee.
and I said to him,
I do now that you stole her. Merely a commodity now.
Just a number, just a face.
Just some girl.
Some girl.
That's all now.
Just to do
Some
your
lady.
experience
That's
battle.
it.
I
Yep.
said, Josh, sometimes you just got to fight for your people. And so, Matt, I'm going to model that to Josh, and I'm going to fight for you. I'm going to fight for you.
I'm in. You don't even need to fight.
All right, let's go.
Just
Let's
get
do
Brazel to
episode
open up the purse
128.
string.
No, seriously, we're gonna fight. We're gonna fight over this.
Well, forget it. You're lost.
Yeah, if it's Brazel, that's right.
Anyway, this
Look at
show
that
is brought
cool
to you
shirt
by
that
More
you
Than
have.
Dodgeball.com.
Look at the shirt. How come we didn't get one of those? Only the hosts?
I
get those?
stole it from the
No,
box of
Simply Youth
t-shirts.
Ministry Podcast. That was like,
Wow,
Couple
that's
years ago.
3 years ago.
fancy.
No,
Wow, and I just noticed it.
I could just start fitting into it again, so I was very excited about that.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
you lost a little weight?
Just a little.
How much?
I actually don't know, but I added a new notch to my belt. I got out the drill
Yay.
and made one notch because I was at the maximum number, and then for fun added 2 more. Just hopeful, I know.
Just hopeful.
I mean, I would be dangerously skinny if I used either of those notches.
I did that yesterday a little bit.
Really?
Well, the hopeful thing. Walt
Yeah.
Mueller was in town, so I took him to the Oakley deal, and Kathy's small group co-leader works there, so
Oh,
we got
cool.
in. You get everything like 50 to 60% off.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
So we took him in to get him some sunglasses and whatever he wanted, and I bought a bathing suit for the summer. It's too small.
Just hoping.
Yep, I'm gonna.
Just
It was only
hoping.
$15. I thought.
Yeah.
Fancy.
Plus, I don't have
No,
a
and
drill.
Too small.
I don't have a
Like,
drill to build.
bought-
And if you
drill
did,
into-
you wouldn't know how to use it.
And belts. No, too small meaning waist. It was
Okay.
instead
Yeah.
of a 36, it was a 34.
You didn't buy like
Is
a
it-
teen size.
a
No, I didn't buy a Speedo or
Is it a
anything.
2-piece?
It is.
I'm sure why that's funny.
No.
That's all right.
This is funny.
Yeah, it's funny. I know.
Well, here's
I know it
we got a great
secure.
team that's listening and or watching. We love you,
Right there.
team.
Yep.
I have actually been meeting what it seems like over the last month with some of our team in different
cool.
places that have been speaking. It's been
On the
very
road.
fun.
No time.
On the road again.
OTR.
As I like to call it.
LOL.
OTR. is one-
ROTFL.
And we're not live today.
No.
Because
Whoa.
our
Missing some of that energy.
our
course we're
technician
live.
missing some of that energy. That's funny. That our A technician Chris Davis is on vacation in Hawaii, so we have our B team Riley Hall, but our A designer.
Does everyone
Simply
just-
Youth Ministry, both in California and in Colorado,
do
has
you
multiple
think's-
designers.
Who do you think's nicer?
Oh,
Between
Riley.
Chris Davis and Riley?
Yeah.
Riley.
Riley.
Riley
Yeah.
is like
Yeah,
the
that's not even-
nicest
that's
person.
not
And Chris
Now,
is a
Chris
pretty
is
gentle
very,
spirit,
very
too.
nice.
I mean,
Yeah,
he's...
so I just was wondering. I
But
thought maybe
Riley-
a little closer.
I do enjoy
Riley has... We've been here for about an hour already, and Riley has said 6 words since we got here, so you
But
can't
he's
really...
laughed at
That
just
doesn't-
about
He's laughed
a
everything
lot of
we said, so
smiles.
that
He's
feels
nice,
really
though.
good.
That's what I'm saying. I'm just saying we might not have enough information. Riley maybe is very mean and vindictive. He just chooses his words very carefully.
No.
Even the silent person
He
seems
laughs
Yeah,
at
no,
way
he's good.
more of
We're
our
good.
jokes, though. He
Yeah.
laughs at everything. So
Yeah, but he laughs
Love that
now,
as an
and then he
audience
gets
member.
really angry later when he's sharpening his knives. I know how these people work.
All right,
don't have
so
any
here's
I know how us people work. is it?
Exactly.
here's how I want to start the show. We got a lot of questions from people, but what I want to do is I want to go around, and I know that I just told you this 5 minutes ago before we started. And I said,
That's what we call prepping the show. Hey guys, we're going to do this to open. Ready? Hands in.
well, since my co-hosts don't prep the show and only the host
Right.
does,
Oh,
Who
and
has
someday,
to-
job's the hardest.
someday Tori
Totally.
will.
print them, who has to print them, read them, and hang the photos
Right.
of our
Which you've done a fantastic job of.
yeah.
Yeah. I detected some sarcasm.
Yeah. So here's the deal. What have you been learning about ministry lately? That's what we're going to start with, and we'll dive into the questions. But we got
Alright.
a lot of stuff going on. Josh also, just so we know, we let our team members know, Josh
Yeah.
is also playing dad at this moment.
Yep.
That child number 4
Oh,
is
speaking of.
being entertained. That's why.
Hi, number 4.
So I didn't know that.
Some random segue that you're making right here.
Talking about it.
No, child number 4
There he
is playing
is.
Angry Birds in the next room.
Yes.
So if he
Right.
does come in, we're going to lose co-host
Number 1.
So you're the assistant to the co-host.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's fine.
that's
I
all
feel
right.
fine
That's-
with it.
yeah, I'm good.
I like to just have a title. I'm thankful.
That's great.
All right, so what are you learning?
You do
Griff
your
should
learning
go
first.
Oh wow, learning how to be a good dad right now. No, I would. This is an easy one, and it's a learning that I have made several times over and over again. But I would just say this: sacred cows are meant to be sacrificed, meant to be killed, meant to be
Ooh.
killed. So
Is
this
that
is
in reference to Mexicali, Easter?
No, it's not. Although that would be an easy learning right now too. I would just say whenever I plan, we did keep fall planning yesterday, so we're out doing like some very rough groundwork of where we want to take the ministry in the fall, and the easy way to plan is just to say, well, what did we do last year, and let's up the ante a little bit and make them a little bigger, a little better, and do our whatever, and I think. When I go to calendar planning, I want nothing to be sacred. That it's all up for grabs. Now, a sacred cow might be effective and good and needed and the right decision, but I still want it on the table. And that doesn't mean that it doesn't sting a little bit when someone says, we should get rid of my favorite thing that we do.
Right.
But I want to hold everything, especially events, activities, really loosely.
Yeah, make sure you don't get in a rut.
Exactly. The rods, effectiveness is the true measure of whether or not you should do an event, not that we've always done it.
Right.
And I say that going, we have 3 or 4 annual traditions in HSM or high school ministry, that I love, that I don't want to give up, but I want to be willing to, and I would say I am willing to. I
Yeah.
hope
So
that's
were
true.
you willing when you met yesterday with your
Did
team?
you guys make some tough cuts?
Yeah, I mean, that was my opening statement was, nothing is sacred.
Yeah. And how did it result? Did you lose any of your favorites?
No, we were pretty safe. Everything was pretty much the same.
Yeah, I like to make that statement too. Hey,
Yeah, yeah.
everybody.
Well, I didn't
nothing
say
is
I had to
sacred.
put it into practice. I just said it's a learning.
That's funny.
No, so we looked at a blank calendar with nothing on it and said, before we put anything on it, just please understand, it can all be cut, chopped, axed,
Yeah.
tweaked, made better, whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, there it is.
There you have it.
That's good.
That's good.
What about you, Queen?
I would say, oh gosh, I feel like I have a million learnings right now, but I would say I have 2. Is that okay with you?
That's fine. That's
The
fine
first
because
one-
maths will be insignificant. So.
Yeah, it really counts.
The first one is just communication. Like I feel like our website has been less than helpful to most parents for probably the last, I don't know, maybe 10 years. So,
Maybe forever.
and
Didn't Saddleback invent the website 10 years
I've
ago?
heard the internet as well. So now
Back when Al Gore was a member.
I think
Not true.
just communication wise, coming up on summer and just really trying to work hard at bringing parents into the loop, earlier than later, and, details, and, just getting floods of emails from parents of we're trying to schedule vacations and that kind of thing. And I think as a parent with our own kid calendar and stuff, it's just been something that I feel like over the last month or 2, we've really been trying to kind of fine tune, and finally got our new website up, and it's good and has the correct information, and that felt really good. And just with just cleaning up our databases too, of just making sure we have good parent contact info, and that all of our
good.
families are included in our text and our our email and that kind of thing. So really just trying to work hard to kind of close in on family communication for summer. So I think that's been, it's always something that I think we kind of are like, oh yeah, we've got to communicate. It's in our mind, but pulling the trigger and executing good communication is just hard. So we're really working at that right now. So that's been a good thing. And the other thing is just, we talked a few weeks back about the roles and goals. Mm-hmm. And so I went back into PDYM and was just kind of pulling some stuff out of there, and just for my own focus, because I think you know, we have had some transition on our team and have lost a couple of team members, and so I've been living by the list, which was, when you said that, it just really clicked with me, of just having endless to-do lists and things like that. And so have really been trying hard to kind of hone in, like, okay, what are the roles I need to play and I want to play, and then how do I kind of just organize my time according to that and set some goals in those specific areas, so that as we kind of head into this next season, I can kind of do everybody around that.
That's
so
good.
Oh, that's awesome.
it's been good. It was hard. It was
Yeah.
hard to really, I mean, I think I've done it at a few times in my ministry, but not necessarily in this role. So
Yeah, that's good.
yeah.
Because your role has changed as
Has
the
changed.
primary leader of the junior high ministry,
Yeah.
and so that changes some of the sub roles.
Yeah, and I don't think
Yeah.
I've ever sat down and really gone, oh, what am I supposed to, what are the expectations that other people have on me too? Like, what am I supposed to be doing, and what do I want to do?
Yeah.
And, you know, those types of things. So,
Yeah.
so this podcast has been a
That's
blessing
good.
to my ministry.
This week,
that's
I know
awesome.
you're not a blog person, but this week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I did a 3-part post on 5 steps to the death of a to-do list.
Really?
Yeah.
So great. I will read it because I'm
Yeah.
in the thick of organizing all of that, I
Yeah.
think, for myself. So
I've been wanting to read it too. I just haven't been able to add it to my to-do list. Yeah.
I did put on there, like, in my learning
Exactly.
section, like, to kind of start reading like 3 or 4 blogs. So I did read Josh's blog.
Oh wow.
Well, like every day, which usually I only do it if he's like,
So,
hey, I put something on my blog that you could use or something like that.
Which
But
I say all the time.
I just read it for fun.
That's nice. Thank you.
It's good.
Thank you.
Very
Good job.
Oh, I appreciate that. It's been fun. I really enjoyed blogging. I blogged about sacred cows this morning,
Did you?
and so that's where that one came from.
He's hamburger.
So you have your learnings just right there.
What about you, Douglas?
There you go. Always. That's why you should blog, Katie.
Well, I kind of have 2, like Katie said,
Serious.
but one.
So pick one. Here's a learning. Pick one of your learnings.
Well, one I'm still reflecting on. That's not fully a learning yet. One an observation.
Oh, I'm
is-
interested now.
Well, an observation that I've had is how alone youth workers are.
Totally.
That, you know, the national network of youth ministry exists to network youth workers. And because we have been part of a multiple staff for years, it hasn't been as big of a need when you're
built in
part of it.
for
Yeah,
us.
it's built in.
Unless someone steals your staff members, and then you feel alone again.
Well, you
Yes.
still have plenty to network with.
Yeah.
You're just selfish.
Sending church.
Sorry, hijack. Go ahead.
But I just realized that so many of the emails and questions and issues that
Yeah.
Totally.
people talk about, I think to myself, that could be solved if you were connected with other youth workers. And, you know, even in the days when I didn't have a multiple staff, I was connected with other area youth pastors, and those are rich, rich times because it's kind of like what we do here.
Yeah.
That's what that network thing becomes. And I'm just realizing,
yeah.
I used to think everybody was part of a youth ministry network, and I think that was just a faulty assumption. The second, that's more of an observation. The learning that I'm coming to is the pace of life that, you know, I did for 29 years in the church that you guys are doing now is just really different. Like I think I just have richer, deeper people conversations now because I don't have that pressing next meeting to get to. Where I've always has projects, you know, especially
Yeah.
I've been traveling a lot lately. I have a lot of projects and to-dos and things like
Yeah,
that. But
yeah.
I feel like my people time is just a lot richer because I'm
great.
not thinking I got to
What's
get
next?
to, I got to
What's
get
next?
to, I got to get to.
Yeah.
And you know, I have a friend who used to be on our team at Saddleback, and he was not in the youth ministry world. He was more of an executive pastor, and he left a few years ago. And he said he saw some people at Saddleback that were on the staff still, and he saw in their eyes kind of this little busy emptiness, and he thought to himself, I wonder if I was like that. And I said, oh yeah, you were
Yeah.
you were the worst. I mean, you were never kind of there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it's just kind of made me think of the pace and of what the church does in terms of pace.
Yeah.
And, you know, I've
Yeah.
only been out for 18 months or something like that, so I'm still trying to
Yeah.
figure that out.
Slow down.
About what that does. You know, Matt, you're moving into a place where you have a lot of stuff going on. You
Yeah.
know, you're building a ministry, and
It's funny, I was going to bring my strategic plan to show you. It's like 11 by 17. It's got circles and time charts.
Oh.
So.
And I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised at all. As a matter of fact, I would expect that.
Kind of want to see it. That sounds awesome. But
But
you're right.
When you lead like that, and you lead at the capacity in which you guys are now leading ministries, do you have the leisure of heart
Right.
to really be with people and cry with those who cry and mourn with those who mourn and
To really pastor almost?
well,
Question mark?
I was somebody, we won't mention this person's name because he's going through a crisis right now. But I was just over at Wahoo's with him last week. It's not somebody I normally would meet with, and he reached out to me and we met, and I found myself just weeping with him. And when you know the story, you would weep with him too. It's
absolutely.
not like, I'm the king of empathy. But I thought of nothing else during that time
Yeah.
than when I was
You
with
weren't
him.
thinking of the next thing. Or whatever.
Yeah, where I feel like in all the years in the church, I was always behind. Your Twitter yesterday,
Oh, yeah.
Josh, about whatever time you expect
10
me,
minutes.
add
That's
10
funny.
minutes, and then I'll be
True.
there. It's comical and funny, but it really is a disguise in some ways
Absolutely.
of how we live.
Yeah.
The pace of our life, and having been removed from that pace for the last 18 months. It's just different. I breathe different.
Yeah.
I think about people different. I'm still, Kathy and I were talking last night about how we said probably yes to too many speaking engagements right now, and I've been on the road a little bit more than we'd like to. But a year ago, when we were saying yes to them, that was the only form of income.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. You say yes. a little
I
more
left
quickly.
a church that gave me a direct deposit. So you say yes to these things that are going to pay the bills.
Right.
But so there's a lot going on. I'm not
Yeah.
saying that, Matt teases me about that I just sit around and golf all day. And that's not true. It's just every other day. But there is that people element that
Yeah.
I'm learning now is a little bit richer than, for me, than
Yeah.
it was when I was just bam, 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 moving to.
Do you feel like you ever had a season in ministry that wasn't like that? That wasn't the pace that you did? You could be a little bit more focused on people because you did A, B, and C? Or...
Well, I think the people, that's a good question. I think the people for me was the staff. So I feel like, one of the things that I feel like over the years I've been good at is building team. And so, I was just in Seattle this weekend. Mike Howerton, who's the senior pastor, was on my team. Lynn Ellis, who's a missions pastor, was on my team. Neely McQueen was on my. They have 5 people on their staff that was on my team, and I feel like I look at them and I'm going, oh, these were the people that I was
Right.
totally engaged with and spent a ton of time with. But now that I'm not building a team, my time is in
Spread
just
out a little bit more.
different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're investing differently.
Yeah, so I think there was that season. It was just a more focused leadership development time,
Right.
as opposed to a just care for people time. Because even the people that I was caring for, whether it had been you or Matt or whoever I'm caring, but there's an agenda in the back of my mind that I want Katie to be. I love her and I want her to be healthy. But at the same
Right.
time, she's the junior high pastor, so I also want her to be effective too, and strategic,
Yeah.
et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
No,
That's
it's
awesome.
just a. I haven't fully wrestled it to the ground, because especially the way that I've just communicated makes it seem like a staff position is bad, and those 29 years in the church were the best years of my life.
Right,
So
right.
they weren't bad. It's just I'm in a different
It's just a
people zone
learning.
right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's funny because when you asked this question for the podcast, like the biggest, I feel like I'm in the wild west as far as doing everything different. I'm doing the same things we always did, but everything's new, everything's starting over, everything's good. But as soon as you asked, like one thing came to mind quickly, and I think it's going to really dovetail. But it's going to actually, we'll see how it goes. So my lesson is this. The funny way to say it, or the weird way to say it, is that when God tells you to eat a burrito, you need to go eat the burrito. And so here's the backup of that, right? Doesn't make sense. Obviously, I love burritos. But, so
I'm
we
in
go,
if the Lord tells me to do that.
we go. I didn't
Eat
want,
any.
but here's the funny thing: I didn't want to eat a burrito. Like I didn't want to eat a burrito, which is amazing. But I didn't, and it didn't make any logical sense. But I did it anyhow, and it was awesome. So following after Griff's awesome idea of you on the weekend, I had challenged
Jaden's excited today.
He's very
Sorry.
excited about Angry
Yeah,
Birds.
for those that don't
Here.
get what's going on.
There's a little child running
Josh's
around.
just son came in the room.
running
playing
around.
Angry Birds
Amok,
in the corner.
running amok.
That's right.
So, so here's the timeline of what happened. So we go to visit Griff's church, his high school group, and we decide we're going to do the same thing and totally rip off the idea because it's a great idea. And so I challenge 3 students they're going to teach. And so they got 10 minutes. Topic's humility. I give them a passage. I say, here's Philippians 2. Read it and just, what is God teaching you about humility? Don't try and just write it down. Don't try and organize it. Don't try and have it make sense. Just write whatever it is that God is teaching you about humility, and we'll see what we come up with. Don't try and put a message together. Don't try and think about what people need to hear. Just ask yourself, what is humility? So I did that. So 2 weeks later, I'm checking in with students. Hey, how you doing? Are you working on your list? Are you looking at what you want to say? And checking in, and then our high school students. So not getting too much. And so I meet with Court, who's a junior from Corona Del Mar High School, and it's after church. We go grab some lunch. They didn't accept credit cards, so I actually borrowed $10 from Court, which was great.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. And so we're talking, and
Some things never change.
Some things never change.
I know the
So
feeling.
he's very intelligent. He's really loud. He's like really animated, and he's like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm a stress ball. I don't know what I'm gonna say. I don't have anything. And so, I think this is something where God's really, really gifted me is that I say nothing. I mean, I don't give him any words. I'm like, okay, so what's God teaching? I got my paper. I'm writing stuff down. And what have you learned? What is going on? Maybe you don't have a message, but let's just find out and see if you do. So he starts talking about his experience where he goes and feeds the homeless. And he says, and I went up there and God showed me that I kind of felt like, well, of course I have something to offer these guys. And I don't know if the word is arrogance, but I felt arrogant. And maybe that's it. And there was also something that I was just trying to impress my friends, or I think some people serve because they want the girl or the guy. So I'm writing all this down, impress others, like
That's awesome.
arrogance, and we're going. He says, so we need to be humble servants of the Lord. And I was like, okay, Court. It's pure Christian. Well, I don't even know what that means. What is that? So he's stuck. He can't explain what that means. I said, well, let's dive into the passage. And so we're reading it. And I literally have no agenda. I have no opinion. I know, we joke about how I've always got things to tell people how to live and what to believe and all that stuff. And that's totally true. I do have opinions. But in this, it's his message, not my message. It's what's God doing in his heart. It's not,
Yeah.
And so I'm just a scribe, and it's great. So we read verse 3. Do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit. And I said, Court, you see what's happening? I'm like yelling in the restaurant. I go, look, these are the 2 things you said. I got it written down. I go, like arrogance. I go, that's vain conceit. To impress others, that's selfish ambition. I go, this is how it works. You soften your heart. You put yourself before God. He speaks to you. This is what you hear. It's confirmed in Scripture. This is amazing.
This is the message,
So,
dude.
so that's great. I mean, it's totally awesome. I think I'm more excited than he is. But here's the funny thing. It's not over. So it's done. I mean, he puts his message together and actually
Where's
did a
the
really
burrito?
good job. Well, it's next.
Oh.
This is it right
Oh,
now.
yes, I'm getting hungry.
So then 3 days later, I'm going to a place that I normally don't go to meet with someone for a FCA person, and we have a meeting for an hour and whatever. And so when we're done, it's 5:00. I need to drive home, and where the church is in my home, it's now a 45-minute drive.
Yeah.
Mish has been with the kids all day. Like, I need to be home.
Totally.
I mean, I work after the kids go to sleep, but you've modeled for years family, and it's always a struggle. But I'm going to be home.
It's what we do. Yep.
So I go to get in my car, and literally it's, you need to go eat a burrito over there. And like literally I have my minivan, which is very cool. I got one foot in, and I'm like, I need to go home. And it's like, no, you need to go sit down and eat a burrito. So, and
you just sensing that?
no, I mean, yeah. I mean, it might as well have been an audible voice, is how confident this was. I mean, it wasn't an audible voice, but it's like,
wish
no,
God
you need to
talked
go
to
over
me.
there.
That's
And
awesome.
so, and I had no agenda. I mean, I was done on time. I was driving home. My wife was expecting. So I go to sit down, and I do order a burrito, and I'm just kind of reading. I'm thinking about the day, And 20 minutes in, Court's parents walked in. And, said, hey, how's it going? And whatever. And so I got to share the story of Court face to face, So it wasn't like they just got to show up and hear him teach, which was cool and all that stuff. But I got to brag on Court and how he was faithful and
That's great.
And it wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't logical. My plan was to be home, and that's a good plan.
Yeah.
And Mish is great enough that, I got home, I said, hey, here's why I'm late. Mish is great and is rejoicing, and that's why we're in ministry and all that stuff. And I don't make a habit of that. Yeah. But unbelievable.
Wow.
You gotta listen
Dude, that's
to those,
awesome.
You gotta listen to those feelings. I mean, I think that's, you gotta, when you feel like something's right to do. So.
Well, Josh has been listening to that Go Eat a Burrito for a long time.
Yeah,
So am I.
yeah, I am. I'm thinking about it right now. I think it might be God's audible voice or your. I don't know whose, but
I'm buying.
Yeah,
That's all I know.
yeah, I wish I'd brought my wallet with today, but oh well.
Yeah, seriously.
That's a
We'll
first.
have to call Court.
We're Court's parents.
But I mean,
just, like,
taking time.
Were they-
Court's parents were
They had to be
unbelievable.
just
they
crazy,
were-
right?
Oh yeah,
I
which
wish
is a
I was-
principle in youth ministry. Coming from a dad of teenagers.
Yeah.
Anytime you brag, Josh, you do that good with me. You've done that with Cody and Cassie about seeing them, catching them doing things right, and then saying that to the parents. I mean,
Well,
parents
part
are,
of it, it's easy when they're good kids.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
sometimes you have to really rack your
You gotta
brain for
dig a
what can I
little.
tell.
Yeah, but it's a good. I mean, I've sat with our interns before and volunteers, and just say after
Yeah,
camp's
yeah.
over, you meet parents in the parking lot, and you brag on
Have something
and
great,
then 8 hours later, when we get to the parking lot, Kathy's there to pick up one of my kids or something like that, and nobody says anything to her. I'm like,
You're like, do we learn nothing?
it's just good youth ministry because that's just a family friendly idea.
Dude, that's
and
incredible.
Teen ministry. I think you did that a lot with us too, of just bragging on us in front of other people on our staff, or even parents, or when you introduce, teen people. That was always that always felt great.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, like he said, same thing. It's easy when everybody's great. Aaron Stenson, that was fun. Good
That was
job.
fun, yeah.
Interesting. It had more of a serious tone to start off with.
Walk right into the show, and
Which is great.
Yeah, no, it's good though. As a co-host, I confirm that was a great idea.
Well,
co-host.
I listened to the Spirit over breakfast burritos.
I am so hungry now. Keep going.
All right. This is from Aaron Stenson, Windham, New Hampshire. Matt is a slacker.
Next email.
Now that he's big time, there's no time to proofread the Youth Ministry Daily before it goes out. I know it couldn't possibly be Doug's fault as he's the grammar and spelling king, and that's on top of being the ultimate administrator. And then he gives the line where there is a typo.
What was it? Was
there.
it pretty glaring or not
the
too
people
bad?
that complain about the typos in these emails.
Well, this guy, he's one of ours. He says, I hope you know I'm busting on you. How can I
which is
resist
great.
because of all the times you guys rip on people for not proofing their emails before sending them.
I
See,
kind of
that's
like
good.
that.
That's
Yeah.
Great article. I love you guys. Love the podcast.
Me too.
Keep up the good work. But that's the Youth Ministry Daily, and that would have been my fault because I'm the last one to see it before it goes out.
Well, and you usually are ruthless. I mean, you've got that. You don't miss much.
Well,
Yeah.
Was this the red pen?
Well,
This was the blue pen. You know the blue pen.
But
You
we've
seen the
gotten
blue
some
pen?
emails of people that have been really bothered, and it's like it's a free email that you get. Are you serious?
That's
I-
why you need to just blog, because blogging is so forgiving. People don't care. At least they don't in my blog.
Yeah.
Well-
But like a book, it really is a big deal when you're
yeah,
like,
well,
what?
it's a book, but a free daily.
I'm with you. It's the same. Same.
I saw a Twitter today.
I agree.
Some guy said, "Does anybody else get too many emails from Doug Fields?" Well, the four of us know that I don't send those out.
Exactly.
That's Andy or whoever sends them out. But I thought to myself, at some point
take
you
that-
subscribe to it.
Yeah, it's
the
kinda your
free Youth
fault,
Ministry
dude.
Daily.
I
It's
only get one from you.
well, there you go.
Why-
I get the same one 4 times from you.
Do you?
I don't know why, but I do.
It's probably your fault. Hey, by the way,
I just assume it's God's voice trying to tell me
the
You better
live
read
read
this
this
burrito.
email.
as a volunteer in the high school
Yes.
ministry at Saddleback
Yes.
Church under the leadership of Josh
I
Griffin.
get so nervous when he starts this way.
I
What did I
get nervous for you a
do?
little
I
bit.
get a
That's I never get nervous. That is amazing to me.
you don't have a conscience.
Or a soul, Matt.
So I got an email today or yesterday from the sender, Simply Youth Ministry,
Oh wow.
and it was from Aaron.
Yeah, I got that too.
Yeah.
They haven't cleaned up their records. I'm still
Aaron who?
volunteer.
I don't know what you're talking
AC.
about.
AC. Aaron
And,
Crumbly.
and
was
it
on your
says
staff.
it's
He's
about
one of
hey.
your
Oh.
It says anybody want to volunteer for the
Easter egg, single parent Easter egg hunt thing. Yeah.
But it came from
You know why
Simply
though?
Ministry.
Because we use the Live curriculum, and you send it through Live, and Live sends it out as Simply Youth Ministry Live
Okay.
curriculum or
Yeah,
whatever.
I figured that. I
Yeah.
figured so much because it was part of the Live deal. But
Totally. Yeah, we love that
it's
tool,
just-
and it's a great way we communicate with all of our leaders like that about a project that kind of came up late, and we're like,
Yeah.
what do we do? And
Yeah,
boom,
no,
everybody
it's great.
knows.
It's
How
great.
come not through church teams?
We could have. We love church teams, but
Yeah.
I guess it was an either or in that moment.
Yeah.
If and when those
easier
get
through
married,
Live,
it will be
actually.
awesome.
Yeah.
Here's a question that maybe you know. It's Simply Text.
Yes.
Okay, and Simply Text is our text program. It says, is
Yep.
there a function on Simply Text that allows people to stop receiving texts? For example, if they reply with stop, will they stop receiving them? A family left our church kind of bitterly and wasn't interested in receiving our texts anymore, so I manually took her off. This is from Mark Cox.
When Simply Text first came out, you had to manually add and remove people, and just recently they've allowed you to unsubscribe people with the word stop or
Yeah.
end or something like
Yeah.
that.
Now, I know at Saddleback we use Simply Text.
We have-
But I, as a volunteer, because I have 20 guys on my small group,
Yeah.
and I actually...
Group switched.
Oh, we did?
I switched.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, other parts of we use Simply Text in some areas of our ministry, and we use duffled.com for our large group.
Okay, well, I
texting
need
apps.
to get
There's
one.
so many people.
Yeah,
It's
I bought
way-
I
it's
bought a
way-
$2.99 app, a group that I send through my iPhone. So
I think that's the best way for small
I
group
just
leaders
do
to
it for my
get an
small
app,
group.
or there's a couple web apps that actually do it for free now. The name is failing me, but you text one number and it automatically texts your whole group.
Yeah.
It's a pretty cool little tool.
well, mine, I just went in group text, $2.99. I
That's
put all
cool.
my kids in that are in my
And
small
done.
group.
That'd actually be a good thing for leader training or something too. It'd be fun. But in churchteams.com, which is like our record keeping tool we use, you can actually text your students through that. So once you do attendance, you hit submit, and then you could type in a message, hit text,
You
Yeah.
can. You
and
can.
it sends them. You can.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
But for, yeah.
But that app actually sounds like the cleanest and best way,
It was
to be totally
easy to
honest.
use.
Yeah.
Easy to use at
Which
all.
is odd that you would be bringing that to the tech geek guys that we are.
yeah.
But thank you. But thank
But
you.
here it is.
What I'm trying to say is, well done.
Well, being the pastor of 20
Hey,
ninth
just
grade
thinking of
boys.
The slow-paced,
Yeah.
heartfelt
Think of
pastor of 29 years.
Walt
just-
Mueller taught my small group on Wednesday night.
Oh,
and-
he's awesome. I really like
Do you know
Walt.
that I have like a ministry crush on him,
Oh,
sort
you
of?
should.
He's
great.
unbelievable. He's so great.
I
I
just
really
like,
like
Speaking of
you
ministry
just
crush-
talk about him like, you
No,
know,
we didn't
that he
tell.
taught the small group.
He was
They
over
played
at my
golf
house.
together?
No, he didn't. He's 2 nights. We went out to dinner both nights. Came
Gosh,
over to my
I
house for dinner. We
love
watched
him.
The Office, Survivor. I introduced him to the Volmers last night.
Yeah.
Oh, the Volmers.
Walt's a
Just
good
love
guy.
him.
But
Yeah.
I told the kids, I go, you guys have no idea. This is like the guru of culture. He's written all the books and a whole bit. And he held him. He did a great job with him and a whole bit. But we brought down my monitor to show some YouTube clips. He was trying to teach them discernment and how do you discern media and music, and he's got this little 3D process where you discover, like you listen to it and just don't throw it out right away because it has bad. You just then you have to discern. And you
Yeah.
put your discernment up against biblical standards, and then
Yeah.
you decide. And he kind of walks them
Cool.
through these real
Yeah.
simple. And kids were engaged
that's
the whole
great.
bit. So on my monitor, I had my blog up, and on my blog there's an ad
Oh,
from
yeah.
Bluefish TV that has a picture of Max Lucado, me, and Francis Chan. And so as we go to boot it up, the kids are around the deal, and somebody goes, "You got your picture taken with Francis Chan?" And Walt just said to me afterwards, he goes, "It's so funny. These kids have no idea
Oh, it's
who
awesome.
you know, like you're
Yeah,
just
you're
just
just
Doug, the small
Doug.
group
You're just a
leader."
normal dude who lives
awesome.
up the road from the church, right?
Meanwhile, Francis Chan's small group is like, you got your picture? Well, maybe not.
Yeah, well, that's Photoshop. But it is awesome because even you're teaching this weekend in HSM as a volunteer and as
Yeah.
a whatever. But I'm like, these kids, it's awesome that even to say, oh yeah, Doug Fields is teaching this weekend is so incredible. So I don't know. I'm thankful for you.
Yeah.
Thankful for Walt.
I'm
Kids
excited.
pumped.
did a big cheer though when you announced
They
it
did.
last weekend.
I
It was
gave a little
cute.
bip bip, and they were.
That's the difference between
excited,
being
dude.
a youth pastor and being, when I spoke every week, for 18 years.
I'm back next week.
Yeah,
Cool.
nobody ever clapped.
When I have a text sent out to go out tomorrow, and it says la la la, Doug Fields will be speaking. Make sure you bring a friend. Da da da. And I'm thinking, yeah, I spoke last week, and we had the lowest attendance in 5 months, and didn't even text about it. I'm like, oh man.
But my daughter
Doug
came
man.
home and said, Josh did such a great job.
It was a
She
fun.
invited one of her friends from the volleyball team who loved it.
That's
Oh,
cool.
that's
Told her, said, I'm excited that your dad's going to speak next week.
Cool.
You know, she
That's
doesn't
great.
know.
Yeah.
So
That's cool.
this is
it was a
from
good one.
Brian Swatowski, and Brian's a Rewind member and sent a photo, and this is the
Oh,
first
I was
way.
wondering what that was.
I got this. I don't know how well you can see this, those of you watching, but it's just their kind of from their neck down. I got
kinda
that
like-
first when I printed it out.
It's really funny.
Then the top part came up. So
Oh,
I've got
there they are. They're
Yeah.
cute.
Yeah, I
But
got
it's
to
a-
figure this out about how to connect.
I
them,
think-
but you'll be on the wall within.
Just
the
put their
decade.
lower half on the wall. It'd be a good bit. We'll enjoy it for a long time. Come on.
Well, I will. Anyway, he wrote, he's a Rewind guy, love listening while running in the morning, attaches my picture for the wall. He started at episode 81, went back. He's a 12-year volunteer veteran of youth ministry.
man.
Recently left his IT consulting career to get a degree in biblical studies.
Wow.
And to head into youth and family ministry full time. Your friendship and love through the podcast is definitely part of the decision to go full time and has given me courage to do so, as I am older than most beginning youth workers. Life in youth ministry can be so chim. Thank you.
Wow.
Thank
He
you.
has gone back.
Yep.
Gemini,
And definition of
Wow.
chim,
That's
he gives
awesome.
an actual definition of chim. You can tell he's an IT guy. Is the science of matter. It adds and changes its value. So he says the value of youth ministry and its ever constant changes.
There you go.
Yeah. Anyway,
Wow.
well, welcome to the Rewind team, Brian. You're going to be. He asked me if we can get together at the Orange Conference. The Orange Conference is like the only conference I'm flying in late Thursday. I speak twice in the morning on Friday, and then I'm flying home. And I was in Seattle last week and had
Just make a second
lunch
trip up.
with. I wish I could, but Brian, I definitely want to meet you. Let's connect for a
Not
little.
too late to change that flight.
No, it's too late to change the flight.
Let's see him. Let's see the other half.
$50.
But when I was in Seattle
Oh,
last
sharp.
week,
Cute little family.
Run into some of our team members.
yeah, I actually had a lunch with a team member, Craig Pfeiffer from Walla Walla, Washington,
Oh,
because we
Walla
remember that
Walla.
name.
I
right?
do
From
remember Walla Walla.
Anyway, very cool dude. Very, very cool dude. We had lunch, and actually another young youth worker, 21 years old, joined us. His name was Kyle, and Kyle was totally out of it. He didn't know what the podcast was. He didn't know the team member. So I
like
told
too
him.
bad.
Yeah, well, he was very cool young guy. I said to him, well, the reason I'm going to answer more of Craig's questions and pay attention to Craig is because he's a team member.
He's
And
part
so
of the family,
Kyle
yeah.
actually wrote me back, thanks for the time. He goes, now I'm going to be a podcast guy because I see the attention. And Craig actually bought lunch. They were both going to try to buy me lunch, but Craig bought lunch, and so Craig says now,
Nice.
as the team guy, I get to say I bought Doug Fields lunch. But
That's
very,
cool.
Very cool youth worker. Both of them were
How
great.
fun.
Anyway, he writes in and talks about the best week and the worst week of his life is that one of the kids in ministry's mom died of cancer, and the parents, they knew she was going to die, and so the dad went to him and said, when she does die, will you help me pick up the kids from school and kind of be there to tell them and the whole bit. And he kind of tells this story, and he said, now after the funeral, after all the crying, I had a little time to reflect, and all I can say is what an honor to have the love and respect of their father. What an honor to be drenched in the tears of students I love so dearly. What an honor to partner with Tim and Peggy in raising wholehearted followers of Christ. What an honor to look in the eyes of Dominic, who in 6 years that I've known him has grown into a man, and deliver the worst news possible for a teenager to hear. What an honor to be that family's pastor. It's more than words can describe, and I'm sure it sounds weird to many, but for those who have walked in this road, you know what I mean.
Yep.
I praise God and even
fantastic.
thank Him for calling me to do this work. As much as it stresses and frustrates me, it's a blessing to be a pastor to students. The Thompson family would appreciate your prayers. They have a long road ahead of them. But anyway, this was who I had lunch with last week in Seattle.
You should. Can you ask them to post those? Post it on your blog, because those words are words that youth
that's
workers
good.
need to read, because that's powerful.
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm always looking for blog material.
And that,
Now that you got me into this,
but
you realize you got to
I
do it all
know
the
I've
time.
unleashed.
You have to feed the
But
bees.
the what an honor.
Yeah.
Like that phrase, recurring, that's powerful.
Yeah.
That is legit.
That's good. That's
Oh.
good. I will do that.
Love it. Wow.
Jeremy Little.
Oh.
Gosh, we talk so much about our stuff that I'm not getting to these.
Oh, that's all right. Good, great
All right.
stuff the other day.
Well,
That's a
we'll
good show.
let me say to Gabby Vassard, who wants the Simply Youth Ministry Conference to be in South Africa. It's a great idea.
Great idea.
And she would even put the church there.
Wow.
She would host it at her church. I would go
I've
to
always
South
wanted
Africa.
to go. Yeah, let's
would you
do
go?
it. Absolutely.
Katie, you love Africa.
I'd have to fly in Thursday and leave Friday, but
That's funny.
soon, sorry.
That's very funny. I don't know how we would pull that
it'd be
off.
so much fun.
Because the
I
cost
really
of
would go.
getting everybody to South Africa.
Yeah.
I don't get paid for the Simply Youth
feels
Ministry
minimal.
Conference, so I could say I do it for the same thing I do the Simply Youth
Yeah,
Ministry
you would.
Conference for.
you'd
How
go
about
to
you, Josh?
No. No, I would love to go. That's all I'm gonna say. I could really
You have to
use.
see your agent?
Yeah, I have to see my agent and see if I can negotiate something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jeremy Little, who is
need to go,
soon
by
to
the
be
way.
the student ministry director. This is the last one. Hopetown Church in Hopetown, Oklahoma.
Not to be
Dear Doug, Matt, Katie, and Josh, I'm
what I
an
was thinking.
episode 00 member. My picture with my son is right behind Doug's head, usually.
Oh.
right.
Well.
I got a big
There, maybe? No.
head. I don't
That's
know.
the only one with the sun I see.
Well, we get names written underneath them.
Okay.
normal.
My contacts aren't in.
Maybe.
I'll look later.
Interesting.
Here's my point. I'm moving into a new ministry in June. I've been in a parachurch ministry with Youth for Christ the last 3 years. I'm going back to church youth ministry. The pastor at the new church really hasn't had many good things to say about their outgoing youth pastor, and I was wondering, should I go out of my way to keep him in a positive light with the students when I get there, or do I ignore it, or just do what I'm called to do, or something in between? What do you guys think? I just don't want the kids that really connected with him to think that he was a bad guy or anything. Thanks for your help. Love being part of the team. Matt,
Interesting.
You're following a high school pastor who we all love dearly.
Yeah, you never. But my situation is way different than this. They're not. No one's speaking
Yeah.
bad on
Yeah,
the
that's
guy
true.
I'm following. But every leader has people that aren't excited about him. So that's just part of leadership. But I think that you're new on the scene. You never want to increase or add to or affirm negativity.
And why
there's
would you?
no-
What's the selfish
There's
motivation, Josh?
no.
So that you look good.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
you
you
knock
look
them
better
down.
too.
You look a little bit better.
I think that there is.
Wait, why'd you direct that at me?
I was just getting a different
creating
voice.
conversation.
Yeah.
Oh, am I talking to him?
No, you're
far as
great.
you know.
Keep going.
I mean, I think that if there are some glaring holes that didn't work, I mean, strategically, programmatically, or decisions. I mean, if there are some things that were really bad, to just paint a rosy fake picture, don't do that. I mean, when you're confronted with it,
Yeah.
I mean, if there's something that was really bad or not good or unwise, I mean, don't be like, oh no, it was really great, because then that's disingenuous. So you need to be positive.
But you don't
jump
need to tag
into-
the guy's name to it.
Yeah,
Just say
but
that,
don't-
that was a decision that didn't seem to work out.
Yeah,
So we're going in a
exactly.
different
And you don't, and that's only when confronted with it. I mean,
Yeah.
that's not my preambles. That's only when somebody brings it up, or there's an issue where that decision needs to be reevaluated in front of other people. I say be positive, but not be positive at all costs, where you sacrifice your integrity, where you are fake, and where now a lot of times people will be negative and say, well, I'm just speaking the truth.
Just being
No,
honest, right.
Just be wise. I mean,
Yeah.
if you get nothing.
You're supposed to
you
speak
gain
the truth
nothing
in
out of
love anyway, so
Yeah.
love should be there before
So-
truth.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
There
Good.
you go.
Good. All right. We will send your questions to sympodcast@gmail.com. I
Love
have
it.
a stack right here, but I will
Those
print
will be
out the others.
lost and gone,
Actually,
so-
today when I came into the office, I told Katie this. I had 9 more questions.
Wow.
Did one of you guys
No.
Twitter about podcasts? I had 9 questions. I printed them all last night.
Ah, that's awesome.
Read them all this
9
morning.
more
Came in-
since last night?
9 more since last night.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, it's nice to be
Well, we're
wanted.
kind of on a rhythm right
Yeah,
now.
we are.
We've done several weeks in a row. And
Let's do it.
Next, let's immediately when we leave here, let's go to the Prima Donna's calendar.
Yes,
And
and
see if we
Matt,
can't
you can
pick a
tell
time.
us.
Well, we gotta hurry up.
Okay, I'm ready.
Oh wow, okay.
I'm sorry. I'm meeting.
Bye everybody.
I'm meeting with Jake
Great
at
show.
11:30 today.
That was a great show.